This is an HP DL380p G8 server, and I'm going to be doing a couple upgrades to it, but I'm also going to talk about why I like this server so much, do a teardown of it, and check out what I currently have and what I'm going to put in it. So this is the top, of course, handle there to remove it, and here's the guts, there's the insides, there's all the what makes it work. So on this one, we've got dual power supplies here. I only have one installed right now, but we're going to change that. Since I'm changing that, I'm just going to remove this now. It's the old 460 watt. Put that over there. Yeah, it has dual power supplies and 2 PCIe riser cards. So this is the secondary riser. To use this, you have to have both CPU sockets populated. So this is the secondary one. You can have two 16X cards in it. Got 2 graphics cards. I'm not actually using these, so I'm going to remove them. And this is the primary module. You can always have this one no matter what the configuration of the server is. And it also just comes out like that. That's one of the reasons I like the server so much, is it's all super modular and basically toolless. There's a couple things you need tools for, but not many. I am using this card, so this Quadro P1000 is going to stay. But there's that. Those are the 2 PCIe modules. Then down here we have this network card. It's proprietary. I don't have a tool here, but it's also removable, and you can swap this out. This is the quad gigabit network port card. You can swap this out with a dual SFP plus 10 gig card too if you need that. Thought about doing that, but I decided against it. Those cards are super cheap though. For a 10 gig card, it's like $10. I mean, can't get much better than that. So you can also remove this power supply backplane, which I'm not going to do because it's, again, tightened too tight. But you can remove that. And with that removed, you can pull out the whole system board. And so then you got this fan shroud here. That just push those 2 in, and you can release it. And this server currently has 104 gigabytes of DDR3 1333 megahertz memory in it, unregistered ECC, I think. Or is it unbuffered? I don't remember. Sorry. And these CPU heat sinks can just get removed by lifting up that lever. It's probably quite glued in there. Yeah. So that's that. We are upgrading the CPUs, so that's why I'm taking these off. I forgot my rubbing alcohol, so probably have to pause the video and get to that. Do the same thing on this one. You just rip it off once you remove that lever there. Oops. Okay. So there's the CPU. They are LGA 2011 sockets. I don't remember what these CPUs are. I'll get to that later when I wipe off the thermal paste, but they're 8-core, I think 2.6 gigahertz. And we are replacing them with these. They are, probably can't see that. They are, you can barely see that. E5 2643 V2 Xeons. These are V1 Xeons too, so that's going to be a nice upgrade. The only problem with these CPUs is that they are 6-core. These are 8-core, but I'm going to be using the server to run 3 Minecraft servers, and so these have a clock speed, a base clock of 3.5 gigahertz. That's a lot more important to me than core count for what I'm doing with this server, and I couldn't justify spending the price on an 8-core CPU. You also get slightly higher clock speed when you do 6-core. So yeah, these are also 130 watt TDP chips, so that's why that 460 watt power supply is not enough. We're going to be replacing that with 2 1200 watt power supplies. The power bill is screaming for mercy. Okay, So I'm gonna get to those once I get my thermal paste. I'll finish doing a little tour around here. One of my favorite things about this server is actually the fans. They're just so easy to remove. Just lift, and then you can just, with one finger, click them back into place. And if you want to remove the whole thing for whatever, whole fan carriage comes out. And you can remove all the fans at once. So if you're too lazy to replace one fan, you can replace them all. It's a little hard to get back in there, especially with one hand. Okay. And that's about it for the inside. I mean, you get the PCIe risers, 24 RAM DIMMs. I have everything populated with that I can. If you use fully registered ECC, you can populate all 24. With this, with the UDIMMs, you can't do more than 2 DIMMs per channel. And the reason it's 104 gigabytes and not 128 is I used some random memory I had lying around just to get that extra 8 gigabytes, I guess, because it was 96 gigabytes and I tossed in some extra RAM. I'm gonna move you around to the front here. This server is the 12 bay large form factor variety. Okay, this got a little beat up in shipping, I think, because these drive bays are hard to deal with. But so we got these are two 250 gigabyte drives that I had just laying around, using them to boot. This is going to be running Proxmox, by the way. And then these drives and all of these drives, they're all 750 gigabyte drives. Totals, they're in a RAID 6, I think. Totals in about 3 terabytes of storage space, which is pretty good. And then down here we have 10,000 RPM, 300 gigabyte SAS drives. That's what I'm going to actually have the Minecraft world stored on, because a bit faster than normal hard drives. And that's pretty much it for just the tour, and I have to go get to installing those parts now. Alright, I got my stuff, so first thing I'm going to do is clean off thermal paste on here. I don't really know why I'm recording this in particular, because it's just removing thermal paste. So one thing to note about these CPU sockets, they're a little different than your average 2011 socket. They have instructions on how to open it. You open this lever while pressing here, then this one, and this is actually spring-loaded. Oops. If this were an originally configured server from straight out of the factory, the CPUs go on little plastic carriages that slide in here, so the whole CPU will pop up. Last time I opened one of these servers that had that, it was the first time and it scared me. But yeah, just don't panic, it is spring-loaded, and so expect the CPU to pop out of the socket. And I got too much thermal paste applied on this one. Paste is what I meant to say. That's too much. But luckily I'm not going to use these CPUs. This is a E5 2689, so not a V2, just a V1. Normal 8-core CPU. Plenty for your average virtualization task, but when you're doing performance stuff like Minecraft servers, it's not enough. Okay, I'm gonna put those off to the side. I got the new CPUs. Now, I think this server has its BIOS updated. I hope it does, because if it doesn't, that's gonna be a pain. But it'll work, because you do need a BIOS update to use these V2 CPUs. Is that going right? Yeah. Okay. Then you do the opposite for when you're closing the socket. Just like that. And that bag ripped. Okay. 2011 CPUs make me nervous, they're so big. Not even that big in today's standards, but like the AMD Threadripper and EPYC processors. Those are huge. Okay, so we got our CPUs installed. I'm gonna censor the thermal paste application because people will give me crap about it, I'm sure. I'm using enough. Know that. And I do an X too. That's all you get to know. So I do an X on the big CPUs. Just like that. No, you can't see. You don't get to know. And then just, this is really too small of a space. I need to get better space. But then you just plop your CPU coolers back on there and lower the lever, and it squeezes everything tightly in place. And these heat sinks have an airflow marker, but I'm not sure why, because they are the same on both sides. They do only mount this way though, so that's probably why. So those are installed. Power supplies next. That's easy because they're hot swap. You just slide them in. I'm gonna go put all this stuff back together first. Can. Okay. Then come back around here. I'm gonna have to remove the graphics cards from this. Don't be afraid to put a little bit of force into that. There's a lot of edge connector there, but I'm gonna have to remove the graphics cards from this caddy that you can't see. Now you can see it. I'm gonna remove the graphics cards. It's a riser, not a caddy. Then there's the power supplies. They're super easy. Just slide them in until they click. You get dual ones for redundancy and also power balancing. So there, both power supplies installed. I'm gonna go remove these graphics cards and install the now empty 16X riser. It will probably get stuff put in it later on, but these graphics cards don't pass through properly. They're old. They're Quadro 4000s and Quadro 2000s. So I'm just gonna leave that there because that's all that's interesting, and you'll see if it ended up working, all this. Alright, moment of truth. Got both power supplies plugged in and the graphics cards removed. Let's turn it on. It's gonna be loud. It's not the quietest server by any means. Switched rooms too, in case you were wondering. The monitor's not on. So far so good. It's actually, it is doing its diagnostics test. Processor initialization. Well, this is going good. I think, I don't know, I've never had a CPU error on one of these servers before, so I don't know if it would have even done this. It usually gets this far. I'm not super excited yet because it usually gets to this point. No matter what, it'll always do this. This isn't really it posting. This is it just testing everything. Because I've had it do this and then give me memory errors when it actually posts. So, yeah, excuse the mess. Let's see what happens. But this is pretty good so far. I don't know if it would do this without CPUs, because that seems pretty extreme. I have never tested this server, or I've never had this server give me a CPU error, so I don't know. This is taking a while, though, longer than normal. Just for the memory initialization and everything. That's not too good. Yeah, one thing I am going to mention, though, that I like HP's hardware a lot, but they do tend to lock their drivers and things behind a paywall for outdated equipment. And I think this server isn't old enough that it gives you crap about that. I think that it's I think that HP still provides this stuff for free, although I'm not sure. And if I do need a BIOS update, I hope I can get it for free. So that's the thing that sucks about HP. Like the G7 servers, you have to have like a warranty agreement with HP to get. Oh, all right. It has continued a little bit, initializing cache and stuff. It must have just been confused because it has new CPUs, but it's going through everything. Hasn't the for some reason it looks amber on video, but the health light is green. Camera, focus. Focus, camera. There you go, health light, it's green. Okay. Yeah, and if you also can't, it's not normally this slow, but it's also not the fastest. When it's booting up, it takes its time. That's a disassembled power supply. Never do that, ever, unless you know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I also know that those things have the complete ability to kill you, even when they're not plugged in. So I'm just careful, and when I get it taken apart, I discharge the capacitors. But yeah, just don't do that. But they got some good parts on there. Still waiting. Oh, there we go. There. Okay. Well, with that, I think that means that it succeeded. We will see. When it spits out, like, memory errors for me, it's after this splash screen that is on for way too long. It's splash screen's here forever. But once it actually starts going through its boot cycle, and you get the option to, like, edit the RAID array and stuff, that's when it's giving me errors in the past. So this part here. Oh, look, the CPU showed up. There they are. I think it worked. I think it worked perfectly. Too late? Okay. F9 pressed. Let's go check out the setup menu. Don't care about that. Sorry about the shaky video. Alright. I'm gonna censor out that serial number just to be safe. All that stuff. Might just cut this part out of the video. Processor options. Okay. Well, I mean, everything's there. I'm just gonna get out of this. So I'm gonna say that that's the end of this video. We successfully upgraded the HP DL380p G8, and now it's ready to go run all my Minecraft servers. If you want to join my Minecraft server and play on this server right here, this very one, you will connect to it. The IP is play.anarchymc.xyz. It's on 1.16.4. No rules, that's why it's an anarchy server. And yeah, you'll get to play on this nice new hardware that hopefully stays nice. People were not happy with this server with the old CPUs in it, that's for sure. And then we will also have a couple servers running on this that you'll probably see in videos. The SMP, that's too many thes, server will be running on this. As of now, it's not even up. When I upload this video, it might be. Probably not, though. So you can go check out that, get live streamed on the Smooth Move Sherlock YouTube channel. I have that linked in my channel on like people you should subscribe to or whatever. And what else? And yeah, there's also going to be a whitelisted creative server running on this that you'll also see in YouTube videos. And I'm thinking about also setting up a 1.12 anarchy server, because people requested that, even though kind of the whole reason that I made this server was to get 1.16.4. If you want a fresh 1.12 server, that'll probably be coming soon too. So stay posted, I'll keep you updated on the server stuff, and thanks for watching.